welcome to a special holiday edition of Your New Jersey from the Highlawn in West Orange. I'm Lisa Marie Faldo. On today's show, we'll celebrate 20 years of the Tom Coughlin J Fund Foundation. We'll also revisit some of your New Jersey's top moments in 2024. But first, Bloomfield Ave Productions is bringing Broadway to the Garden State. Let's meet some of the incredibly talented players. We are here for the holiday production of Bloomfield Ave Productions at the Highlawn Pavilion in West Orange. Anthony, thank you so much for having us today.
Sure, well thank you for coming, appreciate it.
Tell us the story about how Bloomfield Ave Productions formed.
You know, it's a funny thing, a bunch of us, we were in the restaurant and we decided that we should put on some type of an event. We were talking as just 5 guys, and so we formed Bloomfield Avenue Productions. And the first event was about a year ago. It was with Joe Piscopo, Joe's son, Dominic, and then Chris Macchio, the opera singer. Mm-hmm. And we had an event here for the first time. And I gotta tell you, it just brought the house down. Everybody loved it. And so we said, let's follow up with it. We put a play together last Christmas called Ebenezer Scrooge. And that was written by Dominic and another fella. And then we had a tribute to the Rat Pack not too long ago, a couple months ago. And Dominic, of course, played the Sinatra character. We had Jonathan Edwards from Broadway, who's now in MJ, who's coming tonight. He played the Sammy Davis role. And then another gentleman that Dominic knew came in and sat in as Dean Martin. So
I love this. And,
yeah,
and this
cool.
appeals to all ages.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, what type of audiences are you getting?
Listen, what compares to the Rat Pack? Nothing. No. Who can do what Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra? It's a different era we live in. There was a time where you didn't have streaming, you didn't have all of the devices. You had to go to an event to see somebody, you know, and when Sinatra and the Rat Pack came into Vegas, they shut it down. So to revisit that and to try to pay homage to them, I think was really good, and we all enjoyed it. So, and we're looking forward to tonight. It should be a really great event. Chris Macchio's back with us as well, and he's extraordinary. Yeah. He really is. I mean, when you hear him sing, if you've never heard him before, you take a step back. Ooh, wow.
And it's a different kind of voice. Like you have him on stage with Dominic, who, I mean, excellent, beyond, but just so different.
Yes, very much so. So that's why the contrast is really great. Keeps people awake, keeps people alive, and they enjoy it. They enjoy it, you know.
So you mentioned you're an attorney.
Yes.
How did you get involved in the music business?
Oh my Lord! You know, this was something that was new, but in the entertainment business, I've been involved with for a long time. I started taking acting classes when I was in my 20s. I'm still a frustrated actor. I've been in several movies. I was cast by Sidney Lumet, so I've always had an interest in it. And we have a couple projects we're working on now. We have the rights, Joe and I, to the life story of Jerry Lewis.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're negotiating with a couple of major companies right now to put together a docu-series on Jerry Lewis. So, it's always been in my blood.
And you're a practicing attorney in Jersey?
Yes, in New York, licensed in New York and New Jersey. I practice in both states.
But Jersey's a big influence on both your work and your passion.
Well, I was born and raised in Newark, went to Newark schools. I was a Newark cop at 19, 21 as a detective. I went to Rutgers University during the days as I worked as a detective at night in Newark. So, I mean, you know, I'm New Jersey, that's for sure. And Jersey born.
Being on the streets during that formative time, I think probably still influences the writing that you do. And
everything. And, you know, the 4.5 years that I gave back as a police officer in Newark, I wanted to do something because my father fought in the Second World War. At 18 years old, he landed in Normandy. At 18 years old, you know what I was worried about? What girl I was dating or what jacket I was going to wear or something, you know, I mean, come on, you know, that was a generation that was the greatest generation.
Speaking of giving back through Bloomfield Ave Productions, I know that's very important to you as well.
Yeah, no, there's no question. Look, everybody that's involved has their own individual charities. I mean, look, we all agree to one thing, you know, giving back is essential. You have to do it. And the people we work with, I'm associated with, all believe that. So it's great to do. And this is just a blast. I mean, this is just a few guys got together and said, let's have some good times. And the performers are extraordinary.
It's just
beyond. Yeah, it really is. It really is.
Before we wrap, I know you said you dabbled in acting. I have to ask, did you do anything on The Sopranos? Because you're ripe.
I was offered 2 roles and I had to turn them down.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, because one dealt with a character that I would not portray, and the other one was a lawyer, but a lawyer that was crooked.
Oh.
And I felt it was dishonorable to my profession.
Yes, I
So
could see that.
I just passed that.
Well, I hope with these new movies you're making,
Right.
you have a role
Yeah,
on
well,
camera.
I'll try to get in there somehow.
And if you need a news anchor or anybody, if there's a news anchor reporter scene, you
Well,
keep
you
me
always
in mind.
need that.
Okay.
You always need that.
Awesome.
It was so great to meet you.
Anthony, thank you so
Yeah,
much for having us
yes,
here,
absolutely.
and happy holidays.
Same to you and your family.
Thank you. Well, Analise, you look very festive for
Thank
the
you.
season. So nice to meet you. What are we doing here tonight?
We are here celebrating Christmas at the Highlawn, and I'm really excited.
Well, tell us about your story and how you got here.
Oh boy. So I've been performing since I was a kid. I've been in a couple of shows as a teenager. I was in Matilda, A Christmas Story. Most recently, I was in Mrs. Doubtfire a couple years ago on Broadway. And I met Dominic through a friend of mine from Staten Island, where I'm from. And she called me and was like, hey, I am doing a project with some friends of mine who need someone who is over 18 and looks young. And I went to this reading and I met Dominic there. And ever since then, I'm so lucky to call him my friend, truly.
Yeah, you made a really great connection there, for sure.
He is just one of the most supportive, amazing human beings I have ever met, and he has become family. My family loves him. I love his family. It's great. So that's how I wound up here.
So what will you be doing in the show?
I'm going to be singing a couple songs. I'll sing Grown Up Christmas List. I'll do a little bit of The Prayer by Celine Dion, which is a little intimidating, but here we are.
Just talk about the rush you get on stage.
Oh my God. I mean, performing is everything I've ever known, and quite literally the only thing I live for.
So you're a Staten Island girl.
I am.
Which is basically New Jersey, right?
Kind of, yeah.
And you're
We can
now
say
part
that.
of Bloomfield Avenue Productions. So
Yes.
you have become well versed in the whole Jersey music scene, its history.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on that?
It's very similar to Staten Island, honestly. I love getting the chance to come here, and it is so close to where I'm from. So, and it's nice to be surrounded by people who grew up very similarly to me, especially like when I met Dom for the first time. Like we just kind of look at each other and we just understand each other because we grew up in like very similar Italian households. So it's so fun to just like get a chance to be a part of this community and kind of, you know, give a taste of home.
Yeah. Well, this was so much fun.
Thank you.
Best of luck to
So
you.
nice to
You have
meet
a very bright future, and I can't wait to
Thank
see what's
you.
next for you. I want to touch on what we're doing here tonight, but I want our audience to know, because what a legacy you have here in the Garden State. I mean, you were for years Frankie Valli in Jersey Boys on Broadway, killed it night after night.
Thank you very much.
But let's start from the beginning.
Right, well, early on, you know, my focus was always acting. I don't know if you remember that. The voice was always something that I loved to do. I sang a lot of different styles. I started out singing opera at a very young age, and then I moved into rhythm and blues and pop music. Got signed to a record deal right out of high school by Columbia Records, Tommy Mottola, with my brother, Paul Lombardo, other Essex County guys. We went on to do 26 city tour with Christina Aguilera and Destiny's Child. It was an incredible experience. It came to a halt. I was supposed to go to Rutgers School of Acting, but I just thought that that was a better move at the time. And then from there, I started singing in all around New Jersey, and that's where I did meet Anthony Pope, who loved my voice and kind of took a liking and took an interest. And I started really enjoying the Frank Sinatra, the standards, the Tony Bennett style of stuff, the jazz music, and I started really veering more into that stuff and did that for a couple years. And then luckily went on to an open call for Jersey Boys, and they wound up taking me, and it changed my life.
How did you get your voice to sound like Frankie's? Because literally twins.
Yeah, well, insanity, the method aspect of things, just the focusing on their truth, what drove them. Frankie was a big jazz guy.
So when he talked to me, like I had to kind of change the talking voice a little bit to try to get like him, and the singing voice was very difficult for me because I'm a baritone, all things considered. But I had a great vocal coach, Katie Agresta. She really focused on the Frankies. I found out I wanted the role really bad. John Lloyd Young won the Tony, and I found out who taught. I said, who taught this guy? So in that time, I worked construction and tried to get some odd jobs around. Took a little money out of my dad's wallet to pay for lessons, and she got me there.
So after Jersey Boys,
Right.
though, I'm sure there was a little bit of a transition.
A
period
huge
for you.
transition. I started to realize that I wanted to be the kind of the guy behind the table. I started to realize that, not the burning out aspect, but I started to look in the front row and I was like, they're paying my salary with this first 2 rows one night. So I was like, how can I get into that production side of things? So I started writing scripts, like screenplays, and I started delving into that. And my buddy Andy Carl and I started moving together, and we wrote this great story called Just the Hits, kind of about what it's like to be in the entertainment business. It's kind of a buddy show, so we're going to film that through Bloomfield Avenue as well.
Awesome.
But it was a tough time, and then obviously COVID hit, and we had about 3 shows ready to go, and then everything kind of went south. So the rebuilding aspect was kind of wild, and I moved back to Jersey. I moved back to West Orange from New York, and that's what brought me here to this lovely place, the Highlawn.
So what are we going to see tonight?
So tonight we curated a great Christmas show. We have Chris Macchio. He's a beautiful opera singer. His voice is unbelievable. He tours the country. And then I have Analise Scarpaci, who's just one of the most talented Broadway actresses I've ever seen, up and coming, and John Edwards, who I did Jersey Boys with.
Oh, okay.
And he's coming from Michael Jackson's musical to be here with us.
Oh, wow.
And he's still on Broadway 8 shows a week.
Well, Dom, this was awesome. Thank you so much.
Such a pleasure.
And we will do this again when the movie comes out.
That's it, Just the Hits. We're going to be shooting it in August. Andy, Carl, and I.
Okay.
We wrote it, and we're going to cast it. Maybe we'll do an open call in Jersey. We'll see.
Let's do it. Your career, and I've followed you for many years. You did another show that I used to host. I mean, but you've just exploded. I mean, you're getting calls from presidents and A-listers to come and perform at all of their events. Before we get into that, though, let's start from the beginning. How did you develop that voice?
Well, the voice itself, I believe, is God-given, and it was something I really tried to hide, actually. I didn't have any desire to perform, and so I didn't want my family to know. God forbid they would ask me to sing for a holiday party or someone's birthday, so I really kept it a secret. But one day in chorus, our choir director asked each of us to sing one by ourselves. I refused, and at the end of class, when everyone left, he forced me to do it, just he and I in the room together. And that's when he told me that, Christopher, you have a gift and you have an obligation to share that gift.
So how did you, though, get to where you are today? Like, how did you rise through the ranks?
Well, first and foremost, and I say this to all the, aspirant artists out there, it really does take perseverance. So there were some lean years, and you have to pay your dues, so to speak, and learn how to actually connect with my audiences in a more direct way, in a more complete way. And so I started incorporating some humor, a little bit of Pavarotti, Bocelli meets Sebastian Maniscalco. And so that kind of thing, I think really people appreciate, because not only do they come away with a sense that you have a talent and that you're conveying beautiful music to them, but they get a sense of who you are as a person as well, and they can connect with you and with each other in that space as an audience. And that's a beautiful vibe to create as an artist.
Well, someone big time noticed you.
Yes.
And your star really has risen over the past couple of years. President-elect Trump. How did that relationship come to be? Because now you're the guy at all of the Trump major events.
Well, the first time President Trump heard me was before he was president. Donald Trump was in need at the last minute, December 30th, the day before New Year's Eve. Elton John had canceled a Mar-a-Lago appearance for New Year's Eve. And so one of the members said, well, there's a guy that nobody knows about, but he's really good. He'll blow everybody away. So I jumped on the next flight to Palm Beach on New Year's Eve, and I blew everybody away. And afterwards, he called me over and he asked me to perform for the RNC after he makes his speech to accept the nomination for president. This is in 2020. And now I will have the privilege of performing at the inauguration on January 20th.
How did you get mixed in with Bloomfield Ave Productions?
Well, actually, we had the privilege of performing last year with Joe Piscopo, who of course is a Jersey icon, as you know, and he brought me into this wonderful program last year, and he had other obligations this year, so they still wanted to have me come and be a part of this really star-studded program. I mean, we've just unbelievable lineup of talent, and so it is my privilege to be a part of that.
Well, rest up that big, beautiful voice of yours.
Thank you very
This
much.
was an honor. I'm happy to meet you in person, and
Thank
New
you.
Jersey's so happy you're here visiting us, even if it's for one night only.
It's a real pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Nothing has ever been handed to me. I've had to work for, on the field, and off the field. Kane worked with me, guided me, helped me climb higher, to get where I belong, to change my life.
Hey, welcome to the team.
Cougars climb higher. Kane University.
The Tom Coughlin J Fund Foundation is celebrating 20 years of giving back to Garden State families. We went to their gala at MetLife Stadium to learn more about their mission. How special is it to be out here tonight at MetLife Stadium?
Oh, it's great to be here again. You know, last year was our first year over here. This is our second year. It's the 20th year of our Champions for Children's Gala. The Giants are 100 years. You know, the gala is 20 years. So it's been a great opportunity for us to have a night like this and to raise money for a great, great cause. And so that's why we're excited about doing this again this year.
Looking back over 20 years, just reflect on the success that the foundation has had.
Well, we're actually 29 years. We're almost 30 years. So we have part of the J Fund in New York, New Jersey, the other part in Jacksonville. And it's only because of friends. And you know what it really is? It's the mission. The opportunity for me to use the positions that I've been in to call attention to these families who have a child with cancer and the need to help them and support them and be there for them. Anything we can do to help families in that situation, we want to do it.
Tell me about your locker.
This was the first doll that I brought to the hospital. His name is Tango. I got him from Sesame Street.
So Tango, he was your buddy in the hospital.
And then that dress is meant to show that I really like to dance. And then up there, there's a microphone, and I really like to sing. These are beads of courage, which is meant to show your time in the hospital.
Well, I think you did a great job putting together your favorite things for the locker. Seeing it in the New York Giants locker room, did that make you so excited?
Yes.
Are you a big Giants fan?
Mm-hmm.
How did you come to meet the J Fund?
In the hospital, and after I rang my bell, I got to attend the events.
And they're so cool, the events, right? Anything you want to say to the audience about the J Fund or anything?
Never give up.
I love that so much. Thank you. Tell us about your locker.
So, it's a lot of basketball and football stuff, a little bit of everything. This is my football jersey, what I played in high school, number 77, favorite number. It's my basketball jersey. I love basketball. That's actually my first sport, but I fell in love with football, so.
Obviously, you are a big athlete, big football fan, Giants fan. You grew up minutes away from the stadium. How cool is it to have your most prized possessions in the New York Giants locker room?
It feels good. Like some stuff I didn't want to bring because it's too personal. But yeah, I love it.
Why should people support the J Fund?
Because they help you a lot. They're good people. They help you, and yeah, they make sure you're good and everything.
You are one of tonight's honorees. How special is that for you?
Incredibly special to be honored by the J Fund. They're just doing so much great work for children and particularly kids who have cancer. It's just amazing because that's part of our mission at Hackensack Meridian Health. So happy to team up with them, and I can't say enough about Coach Coughlin and the organization, and the fact that they've been doing this for 20 years is really, really special. So big shout out to the J Fund. I am truly, truly honored, but actually accepting it on behalf of our entire team at Hackensack Meridian.
Talk about how the J Fund has impacted your families.
Well, they have really done a great job, because if you think about what pediatric cancer looked like just a generation ago till now, it's night and day. So there's an 85% survival rate actually for kids that have cancer. The J Fund has not only been involved in treatment and research, but they've helped and support those families that have gone through cancer treatment.
It's just a testament to not only their mission, but Coach Tom Coughlin's legacy still in this area. It will never go away.
His legacy is amazing. You know, I'm a lifetime Giants fan, so I am partial to Coach Coughlin. I always tell him that, but his legacy will live on for a long time with the J Fund.
How did you become affiliated with the J Fund?
So I was a recipient of a J Fund scholarship At the age of 7 years old, I had thyroid cancer. I battled with this cancer for 2 years until I was ultimately deemed cancer-free at the age of 9. So when I was going into my senior year of college, I found the J Fund, and I noticed that they did amazing work for pediatric cancer patients and their families. So I was at the gala 2 years ago receiving the scholarship, and then I was actually invited back today for this gala to give a speech speaking about my past experiences with the J Fund. And I'm also being honored as for the last 2 years, I've run a philanthropy organization called Are You for a Cure, where we've raised money last year, over $8,000 for the J Fund organization. And we're running it again this year. And I have hopes to raise over $10,000 for the J Fund.
You are so impressive. I am like so blown away. I mean, congratulations on everything. I mean, that was not easy dealing with that at 7 years old, but I think that strength has carried you all throughout life and you're going to just crush it. How has the scholarship impacted you in your studies?
It has impacted me tremendously, and I am now able to pursue my career in nursing because of it, and I love it. It really has, it's going to bring me to my dream career.
Did you want to get into nursing because of everything you went through?
As a child, I've always wanted to be in the medical field, and then after the cancer, it kind of brought that passion to me, and I most definitely want to help children who have been through the same thing as me because I'm able to relate to them as well.
And you're going to be speaking here tonight, so obviously the J Fund means just the world to you.
It does. It really does. It's a foundation that really helps everyone and anyone in need, and I really appreciate that because they were also able to help me and get to my career today.
So talk about tonight. You are one of the honorees. How special is the J Fund to you and your family?
You know, when Tom called me with this, with the opportunity to get this award, it really took me back to, 30 years of our family being involved with the Giants and knowing Tom Coughlin and all he's done. I just feel so honored to be able to carry on the Tisch family's legacy here with Tom, with the Coughlin family, and with the J Fund.
And what they do for families. I mean, like, to hear those words, I don't even want to say them. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, I'm so happy that they had me pre-record my speech so that I don't have to stand up after, like, tearing. The work they do is absolutely incredible, and I feel so honored to just be a part of it tonight.
Finally, 2024 was a big year for your New Jersey. We won numerous awards and became an Emmy-nominated show when we were nominated twice in the community service category. We were also fortunate enough to have some of the biggest personalities in the Garden State. Let's check out some of our favorite moments.
I always knew too that I was okay with sharing my story. I'm very vocal on social media, and I just love that. I love women tell me thank you for posting that, or I'm just like that. That's what makes me happy.
I'd played in New York for the majority of my career, both with the Mets and Yankees, so I knew exactly what the history meant and how much good that they had done in the community and what it meant to not only just for what they raised for charity, but also just the history of the Yankees and their relationships.
We're here to educate, to inform, and to support one another through these wild journeys that women have to take to become a mom. It's not for everybody, but being a mom is my greatest joy, and I want that for all women.
And the best part about being a mom, you have a very good chance, hopefully, of being a grandma, which I know you love.
When I go to the pantry and I look around at what's happening, what I really see are these groups of absolute angels who have given of themselves to make Hoboken and our community a better place. And it would absolutely not be possible without the money and the support that we see from just our local neighbors who have outpoured all of this help.
We truly believe that our kids, that 1 out of 13 kids who experience a loss of a parent or a sibling in New Jersey, that they deserve safe spaces where they are in community with others, and that their losses will be held and that they will be safe to share their stories.
What I wanted this to do is to underline our common humanity in a world that is increasingly divided in our country, which I lament. This was an attempt to create some healing. And then what my grandmother used to say, never look down on people you don't understand.
This new station, it's just really a testimony of everything that PATH really means to the riders, connecting with the community, connecting our riders to loved ones, to entertainment, to whatever their needs are.
This is a new built-to-suit for Hackensack Meridian Health. It's a new 80,000-foot medical office building. It's going to house a variety of types of doctors in different modalities, as well as infusion therapy and imaging, MRIs and X-ray.
So about a year ago, we did this inside of an empty shell that is now the New Jersey Hall of Fame Learning and Entertainment Center. Seeing it just brings it to a whole other level. You can get lost in here for hours.
You can. It's 10,000 square feet, but each part of the Entertainment Learning Center you can get immersed into so that you start losing sense of space. But more importantly, we also showcase little excerpts of acceptance speeches that our Hall of Fame inductees gave that are Jersey pride laden, but also inspiring.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of Your New Jersey. I'm Lisa Marie Faldo. Have a happy and healthy holiday season, and we'll see you back in 2025.
Nothing has ever been handed to me. I've had to work for it. On the field. And off the field. Kane worked with me, guided me, helped me climb higher. To get where I belong. To change my life.
Hey, welcome to the team.
Cougars climb higher. Kane University.